Okay, so a lap around Monza. One thing to point out here is that any damage to the car, as you probably already know, iRacing model, no matter what damage you've got, they model it with reduced top speed. So avoid the sausage curbs because that will damage the floor on these cars. And even though you haven't got any obvious cosmetic damage, if the floor's damaged you will lose top speed. Obviously your wings as well can get bent on the big curbs. Generally that's the second chicane, it's the biggest culprit, but just basically try and keep it within the track limit and you'll be fine. Okay, so let's crack on. I'll play this lap slowly and we'll stop and as needed, but then the next lap I'll play in real time for you. Okay, so we're coming down the straight. Obviously if you have to defend you'll be on the right hand side, in which case you really need to practice that in your practice sessions so you can work out your brake references. But normally we would use this line on the left hand side. Picking up the 150 board is a good mark, and then if you, I've got basically two references I use depending on where I am on the track. Coming up you'll see just after the 150 board there's a light brown patch of grass, and opposite that on the green wall to the right hand side there's a red square. That is pretty much marking my my braking for the chicane. You need to get up onto the inside curb here, so your own I can say when you're finding your brake marker you want to be braking as late as you can, but ensuring that you can get up onto the inside curb. And obviously if once you found that marker, if you brake later you're going to ruin your lap, because the chicanes here, it's all about exit, it's not about entry. All the chicanes lead onto long straights, so exit speed from the chicane, I mean if you was to push your brake in here you would gain over this 100 meters we've got here to the corner, and you would probably gain something like 1/100th of a second, if that. But then you'd be out of line for the bend itself, and then that would put you out of line for the left hand bend that follows, and you won't be able to get your power down as easy. So you would lose seconds, not tenths, and you'd actually gain 100 in hundredths. So it's just not worth it. So yeah, we're braking, hard braking, using all the track, come through onto the curb. Don't take too much of this curve. If you take much more than I'm taking here, you're going to get a slowdown. Quickly we turn into the next part, and we try our best to open up the steering wheel here as soon as possible. As soon as we've got the steering wheel open, we can start applying the throttle. Through Curva Grande we want to keep on the right hand side just to minimise track distance. Another good opportunity, overtaking opportunity coming into this next chicane, so you might have to defend, in which case you need to practice driving on the left and where to brake. Reference here is the 100 board, and just before it there's an access road. Here we go, coming up now on the right hand side. You've also got the red square on the Armaco, so you've got 3 good braking references here. Interestingly enough, on the other side of the now I see it now, on the other side of the road you've got another one, so if you're in traffic you've got another reference there. I use that access road actually as a reference, so I'm braking around the 100 board. Again, very hard brake, keep to the very extreme edge of the track, start to turn in. You can take a lot of this curb. Now here we've got the sausage curb on the right, on the top, you can see it, and just let me back it up a bit. All those basically like speed bumps, all on the right hand side there. There again, if you hit those you'll either damage your wing or damage your floor, so be very careful here. Use the curb but don't get up onto the sausage bit, and again straighten your wheel and apply the throttle as quick as you can. Coming into the Lesmo, the red sorry about that. The red marker on the right hand side, there you go, is a decent reference, and drop down a gear into the apex, back on the throttle. You can use the curbing on the outside. You can't use much of that green. If you use too much you'll get an off track, and similar here, braking around the 50 into the apex. Try and use the green on the inside of the curb there to get your wheel up there, your front wheel up there, and you'll get a good launch off the curb. I missed it there, but yeah, you can go a little bit further to the right there. Again, you can use the curb, but if you get an off track if you go too far on that green on the left. Now we minimise the meterage here, keep to the left around this corner, and then just let the car drift out naturally to the right, ready for the Ascari. And another overtaking opportunity here. Reference your 100 board, and you want to brake in a straight line right on the edge of the track, down to third, come off the brakes, let the car rotate in, back on the throttle, then modulate the throttle through the chicane, and then floor the throttle now. Using the light green on the left, the end of that light green there, to brake, and then change down to third, and as soon as you can, just inches between coming off the brakes and getting back onto the throttle, just coast for a very, very short time, but just let the car settle. Just be sure that the car is settled before you get back onto the throttle. If you go jump off the brakes and then jump straight onto the throttle, it will just oversteer, power oversteer. So just give it that fraction of a second just to stabilise itself, and as soon as you feel it, then you can go back to throttle. Once you're back to throttle, don't lift off the throttle. If you feel the car going out wide, just open up the steering slightly, which will correct it. but try to keep the throttle open, otherwise you will lose time. Okay, so I'll now run the next lap at full speed for you.